Howdy, howdy, it's super hot out. We're in the buggies looking to get rowdy. It's 100 degrees out and we're up in the pines looking for some shady trails to hide from the heat.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another Wreck Gear video. We are out here in the woods. Tell you which ones too. The 100-acre woods. We might find Winnie the Pooh. We never know what's gonna happen. But we're here to do some buggy stuff in the woods. Check it out!
I bet you guys for sure think that we're not in Arizona. If that's what you think, well, then you'd be wrong. A little fact about Arizona, we have the largest ponderosa pine forest in the whole United States. We mostly wheel in the desert because that's where most of the gnarliest trails are. Well, we got some word that there were a few scattered gnarlies out in the pines, and with a little help of some local crawlers, they pointed us in the right direction.
So far this trail starts out with just kind of like a boulder wash here. Nothing too crazy, just like a lot of diff catchers.
So far, the entrance of this trail has not had any massive sketch obstacles, but these boulder fields are looking extremely technical. These sorts of obstacles may not look super sketch, but can be the hardest and most difficult due to having to have perfect placement, or you'll belly out on rocks or get diffed out. And that's hard on parts and hard on the soul. Boulder fields are a great place to brush up on your tools. Take a look at Virgil showing us how to get through these tight boulders without rear steer by using his front dig like a boss. My favorite part about boulder fields is there are so many different options and lines, and really rad to watch each buggy take their own way. Speaking of which, there's Forrest taking it sideways through some big stuff. All right, we're still in Arizona. I know it doesn't look like it because we're in the pines, but believe me, we're in Arizona. And out here, it's totally different. There's not as many waterfalls. It's full of technical boulder fields and spots to dip out. But we're out here because it is 100 degrees here. If we were at the low altitudes, it would be even worse. I think it's like 120 in Phoenix right now. So we're trying to beat that 20 degrees and be up here in the pines where it's a little more shady, but trust me, it's still freaking hot, but we're still trying to get one in for you guys.
Picked up a butterfly. Never done that before. Mountain Dew. Water bottle. Don't forget, guys, if you see some trash and you can pick it up, always make that effort. It really helps out our trails to keep them open.
Just got attacked by the prime mantis.
That must be good luck.
It is good luck. He wants to go rock crawling. Picked up a passenger.
Make sure it praying mantis are wild.
This is our first time hitting this trail, and it looks like we found our first waterfall. The right side has a massive undercut with a real sharp breakover, so you really have to snug up to the left side. As you go up, you have to turn passenger just a little bit and be real careful that your passenger rear doesn't fall off into the rowdy undercut. Virgil being in a drag axle car, which means the rear axle does not steer, he has to start off with the rear of the buggy way more to the left to make sure from his rear passenger not falling off in that massive undercut. Virgil does a great job showing that you don't have to have a rear steer rig to get out there and do the big stuff. You just have to plan a little better and work a little harder. Interesting fact, when you wheel in extreme hot weather, buggies do not like it. You will find all the problems. Your buggy will run really, really good in the cold, but when it's like 100 plus out, anything wrong, you're gonna find that. We just had to diddle a little bit on Virgil's turbo, but we got it back going. Just kind of like loosens everything up. Everything is hot, pliable, your wiring. It's pretty crazy.
You guys know that I'm sweating for you today. All this footage, I'm working for it. Over here dragging it through.
This trail keeps getting better and better. The boulder garden has doubled in size and is really making us work. I get full turtled and have to really search for traction and try to wiggle my way through. Virgil takes a bit more of a direct approach. Although he still bellies out, he's able to let out his suck down winch enough to get him unturtled pretty quickly, making this line look super easy.
I'm burning my legs, so I'm using this.
Bronson's got his soft shackle garter on.
My firewall is super snugged up to the engine, so it always gets warm. When the outside temperature is over 100 degrees, it gets hot enough to where it can burn my leg. A little rock crawler engineering and a soft shackle for the win.
Oh, lovely.
This crack here is not nearly as big as the ones that we've done in Sand Hollow, but due to each side of the crack fluctuating in height, width, big holes plus outcroppings made this crack super technical.
Thank you.
There you go. Keep coming. Right there. You can really see here how a rear steer can help. The rear axle of this car is starting to fall in the crack because it's a drag axle and there's nothing you can do but try to overcompensate with the front steer axle to try to keep it level and not causing the rig to fall completely in the crack. Driver. There you go. Keep coming. Passenger.
Little Harry. You're good.
This obstacle really doesn't look all that hard, but after seeing and smelling that super nasty stagnant water, it became super risky. If you make the wrong move here, you're not going to smell right for a week.
You need to be going up, not down. No, hang on to him right now.
As we keep heading up the trail, we notice that it keeps getting narrower and narrower, but we still have a lot of altitude until we get to the top. That means there's a good chance that there's some big waterfalls ahead. Our batteries for our GoPros are almost dead and keep overheating, and it's starting to take a toll on us and our buggies. Hopefully we get off this trail soon without any casualties.
What was that?
We were told that there were a couple super gnarly spots on the trails that we planned on hitting, but this exit of this trail exceeded our expectations by a ton. Virgil steps up to the plate and hits this one head first.
There you go.
This waterfall is huge and intimidating as all get out. At the bottom, there's a bunch of loose rock and a water hole that's going to make this even harder. With that obstacle being straight vert and uneven pits and pop outs, you have to find ways to use that stuff to your advantage. If you look at the top left, you'll see that there's a crack. If you can get your driver's side front tire to wedge behind that crack, it will help you hold on from tipping backwards. Once you ride that crack until your rears mostly come up the first portion of this waterfall, you then have to get the front of your car to front dig to the right to make it through the tight crack at the top without slipping off. Once you find that spot and get the car shifted over, then you carefully work your buggy the rest of the way through. Unfortunately, our batteries were toast after Virgil made it up, and we weren't able to get Forrest or myself getting up the coolest obstacle on the whole entire trail. But we're super stoked that we got Virgil before we had to go home. As for Forrest and I, we plan on sneaking in a quick trail in the morning.
Alright, you guys, we couldn't finish filming the last trail because the cameras kept getting way too hot. It was a scorcher, and we ended up getting lost from each other, taking wrong turns, and then electrical problems in our buggy. So this is day two, trail 2 of our weekend in the 100-acre woods.
trail we're on today isn't very far from the one that we did yesterday, and it blows my mind how completely different the terrain looks. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Being a rock crawler in Arizona doesn't suck. Here's a pretty slippery hill climb, hard rock covered in dust. The trick to these is pick your line, get a little momentum, and make sure to commit. If you go into it like a rock bouncer, you can easily make a mistake, get a bad bounce, which would end badly for you. On the other hand, if you fail to commit, then you stop in the middle of the obstacle, it can cause you to slide back sideways, and then you're going to tip over. This trail was way less than half the length and way easier than the one that we did yesterday. Forrest and I were on a mission to get one more trail in as fast as we could so we could get back home in a decent hour. So we blazed most of this trail and just captured the good stuff. You know how I said this trail was easy? Well, this is the last obstacle, and compared to everything we did this weekend, this didn't look like a big deal at all. Forrest and I worked on this guy for at least 20 minutes and had to throw in the towel. This just shows you it doesn't have to look crazy for it to be hard. A mixture of it being undercut, extremely loose, and a harsh breakover angle made this what looked to be no big deal, a deal breaker. No. Not to mention, we're pretty burned out from all the heat and we're ready to go home.
What was wrong with that obstacle, man?
I don't know, man. Loose, all jacked up.
Undercut.
Just couldn't find, yeah, huge undercut, holes at the top, bellied out, hard angle. I don't know.
All of the things. All of the things perfectly aligned.
You know, sometimes you just gotta do some stuff that looks easy and then have it humble you.
Sponsored in part by BFGoodrich Tires, KC HiLites, AXEL Off-Road, and OnTrail Mapping app. Best way to support this channel is give the subscribe button a little skiddly do, diddle that notification bell, give this video the fat finger, and leave a dirty little comment below. As always, thanks for watching.